Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Life Repair Recovery Talk Radio with Rick Thompson, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hello, this is Rick Thompson. Welcome to Life Repair Recovery Talk Radio. Welcome to the broadcast. The topic for tonight's show is unconditional love, and we have a very special guest in the studio, Karen Lorre, who knows how I've been thinking about this all day. What is your out of the gate? What is your definition of unconditional love, Karen?
My definition of unconditional love. First, Rick, thank you so much for asking me to be here.
You're welcome.
Well, first.
Yeah, like that.
That was cute.
Yes, it was.
First, let me sort of let me express what love itself is in my experience.
Okay.
I believe that each of us has a power, a life force that is flowing through us, and this life force is the life force that creates worlds. It's the life force that takes two eggs and creates a human being out of them with 50 trillion cells. It's the life force that has grown every tree and put the sun and the moon and everything up in the skies. And that life force has a frequency, an energy, sort of like a radio station, like a satellite and a radio station.
Okay.
That life force energy, and I think it's a divine life force, it's the energy of joy. It's the energy of freedom. It's the energy of happiness. It's the energy of appreciation and thankfulness. It's the energy of ease. It's the energy of peace. It's the energy of letting go, trusting. It's the energy of feeling how valuable you are, how worthy you are, how important you are. And this divine energy holds this frequency all the time, and it's continually getting higher and higher frequency. So every single day, this energy perceives us to be more valuable, more worthy, more lovable. And so to me, when I say love to me, or living in love, is allowing this power that created me to flow freely through me. And the way I do that is I allow my emotions to be in that same sort of frequency so that I'm in harmony with that energy. So just like a radio station, you have to be on a certain dial in order to receive whatever that satellite is sending you. And the same thing is I'm the radio station. And so for me, I put my dial on being happy and joyous and free. I put my dial on being easy, being peaceful, finding harmony, finding laughter, finding joy, finding appreciation. And as I do that, I allow this power that creates everything to flow through me, and I become like a conduit where I'm open and I'm receptive, and then this power flows through me. And so there's no effort in terms of love. There's no effort for me to love you or to love anyone. The effort is in me putting myself in harmony with that source energy that is flowing through me. And because I've practiced it, and it is simply practice, just like somebody practices playing the guitar, at first your fingers don't know what they're doing, and then as you keep practicing, they get better and better and better.
One would hope.
Oh, yes, hopefully. But because I've practiced this, I'm really good at letting go of the stuff that keeps me separate from that power, and I've been really good at allowing that power to simply flow through me unimpeded. And what that does is it enables me to first thrive physically. My energy, has been increasing all day, every single day since I've been doing this, and my health has gotten so much better. But it also puts me in the right place at the right time with the right people. It also inspires brilliant ideas within me. It inspires compassion and kindness within me. It inspires clarity within me. It inspires creativity and creative flow within me, and humor and laughter. So unconditional love is kind of an all-encompassing word for being in harmony with the power that enables people to live.
Mm-hmm. We can all use that, yes.
Yeah.
Can you share with our audience, I'll just say your mission statement, if that's the right terminology, and a bit of your story?
Sure. My mission is to be in alignment with this divine energy. That's what I want. And then from that, I naturally share it out into the world, and whoever wants to partake of that is welcome to enjoy that. And several years ago, I was struggling physically, sick. I was really weak. I was exhausted all the time. I was going through a lot of stressful things, and I realized that actually somebody said to me that when I was having fun, I had energy. And when I wasn't doing something that I wanted to do, I didn't have energy. And I remember thinking of that, and I thought, oh my God, that's so true. And I started to look at the things that I did that were fun. I'm an acrobat, so I love doing acrobatics. I love dancing. I love meditating. There's all sorts of things I love. I love people. I love being with people. And I started to see that when I was doing things that were fun, I started to have more energy. I had what is called narcolepsy, where I was falling asleep 20 times a day. And because the narcolepsy ended up being like a coach for me, I found for me that when I focused on something that made me afraid, I would fall asleep. Go ahead.
It's like a safety catch almost for yourself.
Yeah, and
right.
If I focused on something that was negative in any way, I would get incredibly tired. And I realized that, my God, my mind was so focused on the negative. I had been practicing focusing on the negative. And one day I was thinking about how addiction, the reason that people get addicted is because they're looking for that feeling, that freedom, that connection, that comfort. They're looking for it in something outside of them, but it's really looking for it in the spirit that is within them. Alcohol is actually called spirits.
True.
And when people recognize, or at least for me, when I recognize that the spirit is the source, the source energy that is within me is the source of everything that I want, it just started to, it made so much sense. And I started to practice taking that energy of addiction, that energy of obsession. I recognized that the addiction or obsession is like a vehicle. Most people are using that vehicle to drive themselves into the ground.
Yes.
But you can use the vehicle of obsession in a positive way. And I made a decision because I realized I had been obsessed with negative things, and that's why I had become so sick. I studied psychobiology in college, which is how the mind affects the body, and so I really understood that my negative focus had been making me ill. And as I decided, okay, I'm going to use the obsessive energy that comes with addiction, I'm going to use that for connecting up with God, connecting up with source energy. And because of that wonderful proclivity to have obsession, I was able to start practicing this with a consistency. And I got so clear because my conscious contact with God is the most important thing in my life.
Right.
And as I got more and more clear on it, I recognized that sometimes, I would have it for 10 minutes in a day, and I would feel good in those 10 minutes. But then the rest of the day, all sorts of negative things would happen, and I realized I really want to be consistent with this. This isn't something that I can do, and maybe it's just because I'm super sensitive, but for me, I can't afford to be afraid. I can't afford to have resentments. I can't afford to have judgments against people. It doesn't serve me.
The price one pays is very high for that kind of
thought
process.
It makes me physically ill to have negative thoughts about anything. And so I started to practice extending my time in connection with this divine source energy, extending my time feeling happy, joyous, and free, extending my time focusing on things that I could appreciate. And I would get up in the morning and I would write out what I appreciate for sometimes 2 hours. I would just write and write and write, and I'd be sobbing with the depth of my appreciation. And what would happen is I would finish that and I would see the world in a totally new way. Colors were brighter, people were so beautiful, I felt light, I felt healthy, I felt energized. And as I kept practicing that, my behavior started to shift, and things that had been problematic in terms of my behavior, let's say food that I was eating that wasn't good for me, it all just started to fall away. And now I haven't had sugar in almost 2 years. I haven't had any caffeine in 8 years. I just have been in this flow, and things have gotten healthier and healthier and healthier. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is about consistently using that energy of obsession for good, using that energy for connecting up with the power that solves all the problems. It solves everything.
That's brilliant.
So that's what I call living in unconditional love.
Okay, well, that's good. That's really interesting because as we have both seen in our lives, we see people that are just so negative. And it's like a discussion we were having a few minutes ago, that they don't see because they're so in that negative zone, and they're become acclimated to that, all the behaviors and all the give and takes that come in that environment. And until someone is made aware of it by their own awareness, or someone taps them on the shoulder and says, do you realize that this is happening? And then a person sits there and they go, no, but now that you mention it, I'm of the firm belief that I've got a lot of layers like everybody else does. And you go 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layers. And now that I'm 23 years down the road with this, there are things that I have to look at in reference to my behavior patterns and the way that I react to people in certain situations. And there are times when I've caught myself and gone, whoa, that's not even what was going on. So what is happening is something's being triggered from years ago that I haven't obviously come to grips with yet and dealt with and walked through it. So, it's incredible what you just said. This is the most interesting interview I've had so far. All right, then. I've got a question for you. What do you feel are the most positive growth aspects of being in unconditional love?
I think that focusing on things that you appreciate is tremendously helpful. It will cause you to grow faster than anything, really, because that's the same frequency as what the source within us seems to be pouring out towards us all the time, is this utter appreciation. So when we're in a state of thankfulness or appreciation, that really is huge. And I also think that recognizing that each of us has all of the infinite qualities of the divine flowing through us, and that being aware of the qualities of the divine and ascribing them to ourselves is a really powerful thing to do. So what I mean by that is, if God is loving, recognizing that I am loving because I have this energy flowing through me. This energy can bypass my quote-unquote story. This energy can bypass all the programming that I came up with if I start to just focus on the truth of the divinity that's within me. So people can do this. You can literally write out I am phrases every day where you write out I am all the qualities of the divine. So I am infinite intelligence. I am incredible kindness. I am epic, innovative, genius creativity. I am incredible, mind-blowing abundance. I am utter peacefulness and tranquility. I am beauty. I am love. I am humor and laughter and playfulness. I mean, you see in nature, animals are playing all the time. They're just having fun and, playing.
Right.
So many animals just play. And so that's kind of how I've understood the divine, by seeing how nature reacts. You see how the abundance of, even if you just look at the abundance of types of trees, it's just mind-blowing, all the innovative creativity that's going on. And that same innovative creativity is flowing through us. The same brilliance that takes a sex cell from your mom and a sex cell from your dad and brings them together and creates a person with 50 trillion cells, that same genius that's doing that is also running through you. So you have this incredible organizational power, this incredible effectiveness, this divine energy. You have the energy that creates worlds flowing through you. And if you start to recognize that that is who you really are, that your story is not who you really are, but this divine essence is really who you are, and you start tapping into that, that to me is one of the most powerful things you can do for your own growth, because you start to radiate godliness.
Right.
And people see it and people feel it, and you intuitively know how to soothe someone or how to make someone laugh or how to let go of something in your own mind. And as you practice that more and more, the negative thoughts, like you were talking about, where you say people aren't even aware that they're thinking negative thoughts. They're acclimated to it.
Right.
You can't stay acclimated to negative thoughts when you're focusing on appreciation and then focusing on how you have every quality that the divine has flowing through you, available to you. You're infinitely resourced in every moment.
A lot of people don't even realize they have that.
Right. But we do. And it literally just takes repetition, practice, doing it over and over again until it gets ingrained. I mean, all the negative things that people have done over their lives, they've done it because they've been practicing negative thoughts. We get it from parents or schools or the news or whoever, friends, doctors, whatever. But if you start practicing positive thoughts, you start making those same grooves in your brain and in your habits, so that you're actually thinking positive thoughts naturally. And one of the things that I do is I create guided meditations with a ton of these really positive thoughts, and that's one of the things that helped me get well and helped me use that obsessive energy as I created a meditation about my body, showing my body how it had all this health and well-being flowing through it.
Do you ever do seminars?
Yeah, I do online classes, and I've done lots of live seminars.
Just tell our audience a little bit about that.
Well, actually, I'm going to be doing one in October 7 through 9 at the One Love Fest. I'll be teaching a class there on unconditional love. And I have a website called yummymeditations.com, and I create online meditations for that. And I also have meditations that people can buy that are general meditations for anybody, but really powerful. There's some really good ones. There's one called Yummy Feeling Loved, and that one would put people in a place of really recognizing their divinity, and it's divine love that I'm bringing in, and it's beautiful. People have said it's transformative and it's incredibly powerful for them. So that would be a really good meditation that people can get.
Now, was that the fest that you were talking about, the festival? Can you give us some information on that as well?
Yeah, the One Love Fest, I think it's onelovefest.com.
Okay.
And it's a celebration with musicians and spiritual teachers and things like that. And I just got asked, so I don't know who the lineup is yet because it's just being formed, but it's going to be really fun, and it's going to be at Lake Casitas, October 7th through 9th, I believe.
Now, where's that located?
Lake Casitas?
Yes.
I've never been there. I don't know. I think it's near Ojai.
Okay.
I don't
it's
know.
In California. It's in Southern California.
They just asked me. I don't organize it.
I understand. That's good. It's okay.
Google Maps, babe.
Google Maps. What is living in unconditional love to you, and what are some of the things that you do to do that?
Well, what I was saying before about being in appreciation and then being focusing on I am, all the qualities of what source is. Those are two things. I also practice keeping my attention on being relaxed. Keeping my heart relaxed, keeping my belly relaxed. I mean, we have in our heart and in our belly almost as many brain cells, neurons, in our heart and our belly as we do in our head. And if you're keeping, or if I'm keeping my heart and my belly relaxed, I'm more receptive. Like, the more relaxed my heart is, they found that the heart is intuitive. It knows things before the brain can hear it, see it, smell it, or taste it. So the heart, if I'm keeping my heart soft and relaxed and open, it is naturally going to give me the intuition, so I have the right timing, so I know the right thing to say, so I'm looking in the direction of that which I want at that moment.
That's interesting.
Yes, and I also practice, like, the source within us approves of everything we do. So I practice approving of everything I do and everything everyone else does. The source within us admires us. So I practice admiring myself and admiring others. The source within us is proud of us, more proud than any parent can be of any child. The source within us is so proud of who each of us are, no matter where we are. This is unconditional. It doesn't matter what somebody is doing. The source within them is proud of them and approves of them. And so I practice having that same depth of being proud of everyone unconditionally.
That's incredible. What are the usual questions that people have for you when inquiring about unconditional love or your yummymeditations.com website?
So one of the things I help people understand, they ask, how do you know if you're in alignment? How do you know if you're in God's will or your will, kind of thing? And again, it's that same emotional understanding of, if I'm in a place that's stressed out, I'm blocking my capacity to perceive the love that is already within me. So it's about finding emotional harmony with that power. So finding anything that can get you into a state of freedom, a state of happiness, a state of joy, a state of appreciation. And as you do that, and knowing that, this is also really important. Like, how do you shift belief systems? So, for example, a belief is just something that someone has practiced. So someone will have a belief, and it will be something that they've just practiced over and over again. And if you simply start practicing beliefs that feel better, and just practicing them over and over again, it might feel funny at first, but if you keep doing that, what happens is you start to believe things in a new way.
Right.
And you literally start to transform your mind.
Almost like reprogramming yourself.
It is reprogramming yourself. We are so easily reprogrammed. And what is also really cool is allowing the source within you to reprogram you. So that, like, for example, with me,
you have to let your walls down and be prepared to be reprogrammed.
Yes.
Right?
So one of the things that happened with me is I literally would feel the source within me going into my brain and sort of like massaging my brain. And what was happening is I was literally letting go of all sorts of things that were false belief systems, all sorts of fears and resentments. And it was like this energy was literally massaging my brain. And it shifted my thinking. It shifted everything. And it felt like it was increasing my whole brain thinking, like it was increasing the connection between both hemispheres of my brain. And I would feel it would be so pleasurable, and it would make me almost like, it was intoxicatingly pleasurable. It was just like incredible, this brain massage I was getting. And it literally felt like it rewrote my brain. Now my brain is really quiet. All I think are thoughts that are in alignment with God. It's just constant appreciation and thankfulness and happiness and joy. And that's a big shift.
That's a big shift for anybody when you can open yourself up to a new adventure, especially on a spiritual level, when a lot of people are so busy in their daily lives, just trying to get the bills paid and, deal with their children and deal with life's problems as it's coming at them, to have that moment where they can stop and just feed themselves. and be, feel love and feel complete without having to have that job or that car or that house or that person to feel whole.
Yes. In fact, there's a great line, you cannot transmit something you haven't got.
That is also true.
And so being fed emotionally, being fed spiritually, that to me is the most important thing anybody can do, because you can't go into a job or into the life of a child or into a relationship unless you are fed spiritually and emotionally in a way that's going to be beneficial, in a way that's going to be harmonious and elicit from people the best. You want to elicit the best from everyone. And when you're in a place of dis-ease, you're going to be eliciting dis-ease from people.
Right.
But when you get into harmony, then you start eliciting the very best from everyone.
Which is a much better way to deal with it.
Yeah, it's more fun.
Yeah, it's much more fun. Okay, we're back in the studio with Karen Lorre. And I've got another question for her. How has this path that you are on directly affected your life, and how did it affect your physical and emotional condition?
Oh my gosh. It transformed my physical body. I had narcolepsy, I had chronic pain, I had depleted adrenals, I had a thyroid that was off, my hair was thinning, my eyebrows were thinning, my nails were weak, my bones were weak, my skin was not as happy. As I started to practice this, I went from chronic pain to chronic pleasure. I have unbelievable pleasure in my body all the time now. I went from having no energy to having vibrant energy. People often ask me, how do I have so much energy? And it's just natural, because I'm not blocking my energy with stress. So I just have this natural conduit open, and the energy that creates worlds flows through me. So I have this incredible energy. My adrenals got completely balanced with no medicine, just with listening to a meditation I made for myself. My thyroid got balanced without any medicine, just listening to this meditation I made for myself. My hair started growing in thicker, also that was in the meditation. My eyesight improved, my nails got thicker, my bones got stronger. That's just in my physical. Oh, and I feel more young. I think I'm getting younger every single day. Plus my relationships, all of my relationships have shifted so dramatically. I now practice, this is another practice I do, seeing everyone the way the source within them sees them. So I look at everyone and see their divine intelligence, their divine love, their divine grace, their divine beauty, their divine worthiness and value and importance, and everything that is beautiful within a person. I look for that in every person. And what that's done is it's caused every person in my life to be much more fun with me, and to make all my relationships have become so much more harmonious. I don't even have to tell people I'm doing that, but they just feel that when they look at me, they can see the appreciation I have for them. Right. So, yeah.
That's amazing.
It's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I mean, considering that the other side of that coin is, we've got a phone call coming in. That's amazing. Hello, welcome to Life Repair. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hello, you're on Life Repair. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing? This is Tony.
Hello, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Tony. Hi, who am I saying hello to? Is that Karen?
It's Karen.
Hi, Karen. It's Tony Dennison.
Oh, hi, Tony. How are you, love?
I'm good. Oh, you said, "Oh, Tony," like you were disappointed.
No. Oh, Tony. No, that was not disappointing.
I'm only teasing. You getting rid of dysfunctionalism worldwide?
Well, we're working on it. Well, actually, Karen's working on it more than I am. So her story's incredible.
Sure she's doing a great job wherever she goes. And all that.
Oh, thank you.
So have you got any questions?
Do I have any questions about unconditional? Unconditional love exists momentarily throughout the day, because you can do things that unconditionally, for somebody, and random acts of kindness and what have you. But the minute somebody turns around and says to you, "Attaboy," unconditional love goes out the window, because everybody loves an attaboy or an attagirl once in a while. So when you get an attaboy and attagirl, it feels really good. And the minute you get your ego to get involved from feeling good, then unconditional love is gone. But the good news is, then you get the opportunity to go snap right back into it again. So if you play the game right, it becomes this really interesting game of, like, hitting the ball really hard and and running around the bases, but you don't know how many runs you score at the end of the game. You just keep hitting the ball and running the bases.
Well, that's an interesting concept.
I have a question for you, Tony. Tony.
Yes. Or maybe hitting the ball and there's nobody on base, so you can't get any RBIs. Who knows? Anyway, go ahead.
What if, when somebody gives you an attaboy and you feel good, what if that is part of unconditional love? What if that is...
Well, it's unconditional love on their part when they tell you attaboy or attagirl. But the minute you start feeling the warmth of, like, oh man, that's inevitably, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, inevitably you wind up with a slight case of the me overtaking the I, in our daily existence, because then the me likes to be told attaboy. The I already knows it's attaboy 24/7. But the I observing the me knows that. But sometimes the me, when it hears it, it goes, oh, that feels good. I think the minute you say that to yourself, whether you say it subconsciously or whatever, or when you go, oh, shucks, thanks, all of that means unconditional love is still present, but unconditional love is. That's all.
I see, because you're saying that when something is unconditional, you don't need any response from anybody. You just love. That's what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Right, and I agree with that. Anything. Right, you don't need.
No,
anything.
I shouldn't say need. You don't even want it.
Right. You're just shining like the sun. That's what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. So it's just shining out on everyone. And then you're saying that when somebody gives you an attaboy, you go, oh, I'm the sun, instead of recognizing that you've been allowing that divine energy to flow through you freely and being thankful for that energy that's flowing through you. So it's somebody thanking you, but it's not really you. It's really thanking the divinity within you that's able to shine out like that.
Right. I mean, like, for me, it's like, I think one of the reasons why the movie Casablanca is like one of the greatest movies of all time is because at the end, it's the first time on screen, I think. I mean, I'm sure there are other movies, I just can't think of them off the top of my head, that unconditional love exists between two people, and it's not about them being together. And that there's a greater cause beyond their individual love. It's the love that they can share, for humanity.
Right, with others.
And I think that's what makes the movie so spectacular, is that it's really about unconditional love.
Beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Oh, well, thanks.
You're welcome.
I don't get that.
Well, you don't
get any payment for that stuff.
I guess I'll take you out to Izzy's.
You take me out to Izzy's. Yeah,
I'll take you out to Izzy's.
I remember the first time I heard you share, and I just loved, using the word love, I just loved how you just made a point to incorporate love into every facet of that share. Thinking this is really a unique, different share than I've ever heard. And I just thought I'd tell you that if I hadn't already told you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Tony. Thanks for
You're
calling
welcome.
in, man. We really appreciate it.
Sure, my pleasure.
Okay, have a good night. Karen, do you feel that you can openly communicate with people from your heart and still be able to protect yourself?
I don't protect myself.
Okay.
Because I found that when I was trying to protect myself from things, I was actually bringing to me that which I did not want.
Mm-hmm.
So I recognize that when I'm in a place of my heart being open and when I'm in a place of love, the universe is doing all the organizing, and the universe is only going to bring me something that matches that love. So I don't need to protect myself. I don't need to defend. I don't need to rationalize. I don't need to explain. I just shine my love like the sun, and then the universe brings things that match to that. So there's nothing bad that ever comes to me, mm-hmm. because I'm in a place of such consistent love. Mm-hmm. So I've really learned that I don't have to protect myself from anything. And I recognize, like, when I used to protect myself, it would be like a stiffness inside of me that was actually drawing to me everything that I didn't want to happen. And when I saw that, I could physically feel it let go. It was like my body relaxed, and I just stopped pushing against what I did not want and relaxing and focusing on what I do want. And because I started doing that, all the stuff that I did not want simply fell away, and all the stuff I do want just started flowing in.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. It's this is all very new to me, and listening to this, and so I'm just trying to absorb as much as I can, and pass it on to our listeners as well. So basically, you're saying when you're at this place, you're in divine flow. Is that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's no effort involved in it. I'm simply listening in my heart and following the inner guidance that is coming to my heart. So it's kind of like my, your GPS in your car.
Right.
It's kind of like that, turn left, turn right,
okay,
do this, do that. And so I find things, like the other day somebody was looking at me from behind, and I didn't know they were looking at me, but I felt my head jerk back, so I saw it, and we had this moment of laughter. But I didn't know that they were looking at me. I just could feel this impulse to shift my head.
Right.
And so it's this constant relaxation that allows me to be guided by the source within me, so that I'm in that flow, so that I'm just letting the source within me determine what my next movement is, what my next action is. There's, I'll have an intention during the day, I want to do this, but the source within me just guides me throughout all of it, and I don't hold my intentions really firmly, so I can let the source within me kind of inspire me in the moment.
Right. That's incredible. I mean, this is all such new material to me, just trying to become acclimated to this information as much as I can. I'm looking forward to talking to you, further about this, and getting started on a different path.
Thank you. That's really sweet. I really appreciate that, Rick. Thank you.
Welcome. Let's talk about your yummymeditations.com website. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So yummymeditations.com, it's a website where people can contact me if they want a personalized guided meditation, and I can send them information on doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And also where people can get access to meditations that I've already made. This Yummy Feeling Loved meditation would be a good one for people, just because it feels so good. But there's good morning meditations, and there's playfulness meditation, and there's more meditations coming in often. And then as I create the online classes, they can sign into the website, and when the online classes are ready, then they'll be able to get information about that.
Right, and sign up.
Sign up if they're interested.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then there's a ton of testimonials on there and things like that. It is so much fun to do these meditations, because people's lives literally transform, after one session. It's pretty exciting.
So are these reasonably affordable without getting into cost structure and that kind of thing right now?
Well, I have clients every day, so it seems like it's very affordable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Karen, can you touch on the subject of how to let go of defects of character?
Oh, yeah, I would love that. So a lot of times what people do is they focus on the defect of character, and they're aware when they do it, which is good to be aware, but then they get mad at themselves when they do it, or they beat themselves up, or they are harsh with themselves. So there's a couple tricks to this. The first trick is to be really kind with yourself when you do something that you wish you didn't do, and be really gentle. The source within you never judges you. The source within you is so kind and so loving. So if you can just be gentle and kind and say, okay, I'm doing everything right, I'm learning, it's all okay, it's not a big deal, I'm finding my way, and then take the opposite of what the defect is and start looking at what the asset is. And that practice of looking at what is the, that I am practice of focusing on the divinity within you and ascribing to yourself all the aspects of the divine, that exercise in itself actually will start to ameliorate all the defects of character, and will start to allow the divine aspects of yourself to come forth more and more and more. I mean, without any effort, I, for example, stopped eating sugar. I didn't even try to stop eating sugar. I just was in such a state of appreciation that water was tasting sweet to me. Vegetables were tasting sweet to me. My life was sweet. Every relationship I have was sweet.
Right.
It was so overflowing with sweetness that when I went to go eat sugar, it just didn't have the same appeal to me anymore. It wasn't.
Sure.
It wasn't as
interesting. It wasn't working anymore.
Yeah, it just left. So it just fell away. I used to be late all the time, and as I just started to focus on how I'm always in the right place at the right time with the right people in the right way, and focusing on that, because that is an aspect of the divine. The divine is always in the right place at the right time.
Right.
And so as I would focus on that, I just naturally am finding I'm usually a little bit early, or I'm right on time, and it's quite amazing. I don't have to struggle to be on time anymore. And, I used to fall asleep, and what happened when I would fall asleep is I would hear the source within me, because I'd be so tired that I couldn't have resistance at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hear the source within me saying, it's okay, don't worry, everything's all right, you're doing everything right, just let yourself relax. Sleep, just relax, all is well, you're doing great. And then what that did was it trained me to be gentle with myself and kind with myself, and gentle and kind with others. So that gentle and kindness is the hugest aspect of letting go of anything, and then focusing on what you want, meaning I love being on time, or I love having vibrant energy, or I love being, the I am presence of God.
Right.
I love being in the right place at the right time with the right people. As you focus on that, you're just naturally going to be drawing to you, because we get what we focus on. We get what we focus on, whether we want it or not. So it's really important to start focusing on the things that you want, not the things that you don't want.
Great. Thank you so much for being here. Really, it was a lot of fun spending the evening with you, and it's been very instructional for me, because I'm just, I'm like a novice at this, so I'm just listening to you like, the first time I went to a class at the university. It's greatly appreciated, and I really appreciate you taking the time to come over here, because I know that you've got other things you need to do as well. You can reach Karen at www.yummymeditations.com. That's www.yummymeditations.com. We are at the end of this week's show, but make sure to tune in next week for another hour of reverberating talk radio. I would like to thank the lovely Karen Lorre for sharing her story with us.
You're listening to Life Repair Recovery Talk Radio with Rick Thompson, only on LA Talk Radio.